these. My last news review has been more than 2 weeks ago, and also I was only focusing on what was going to be on 1.7. So now let's go back a little bit to everything that has been said, that is in the work for the future or new things like that. And like I've done in the past, everything that is about flowers will be in a separate news like FAQ videos that I will do later. So now let's go to see what Chelsea has said in the Discord about what is on the horizon for this game. Nikki said, "Ha, I love this. Do you think there will ever be HKIA specific merch?" And Chelsea said, "I sure hope so." I don't know if it's dependent on Sanrio to make these or on Sunblink. By the way, I make merch as a living, so if you want to hire me, please do. A feedback that says, "Please make best friend pick up event currency." And Chelsea answered, "When we discussed this internally, 2 things came up. 1, the event all works slightly differently, so we couldn't make it universal. Think about the event where you had to catch love bugs, for instance. We've only been able to have it for the celebration events when there's currency hidden around the island." Oh, so celebration is always something to catch? Wasn't it also the give and gather celebration? Or was it festival? I'm not sure. Well, some of them were festival. Anyways. 2, we were worried folks would ask a friend Noel to collect the currency on the last day of the event and then be upset, confused when they did not have any. It disappeared on the next day. That is actually valid. We are trying to make sure that all events with this pattern have a maximum of 7 things that must be found a day, and that for the most part they are all right around the main seaside resort area, like the Mystic Stones. You have noticed that the Mystic Stones now did not go all the way to Chococat or on the upper parts. That was easier to collect them. Now with the scales, they're a little bit more around the beaches, but still it's quite easy to see where the beaches are. So you can just do 1 round and that's it. Just said, "Could it possibly have a feature similar to when we have to collect a certain number of items for a quest, where when we pick it up it says 1 out of 11 or I guess 1 out of 7 for future events?" And Chelsea answered quite something different than the question. "We're trying to add events dailies that don't take up a slot in the usual 4. I think she is talking about Misetama-san, for example, that took 1 slot. That means that you had 1 less slot for a quest from a character, but that does not really answer Jazz's question. The cabin improvement suite that keeps getting pushed because we are more now giving anything that touches cabin way more testing / implementation time. So they're working on cabin, item placement in edit mode, multiple item on in decor, multiple item on mannequins. So probably, yeah, we can have a full outfit on mannequins, like a hat and a cloth and maybe wings and sunglasses and things like that. And maybe this, I don't know if it looks like a new item, like 2 kind of food on 1 big table or something like that. And item placement in edit mode will be that we can put stuff on table in edit mode probably. And also the ability to have different time of day in cabins. This may never happen. Okay, like a cozy nighttime. I don't know if it's just for photos or what, because I thought that the cabins look different when the time of day is. I'm not sure what I meant here. Jessie said, "Exacting update, we found a way to lower the dev cost of integrating this, so we're going to try to get it into 1.8. No promise, but we're hopeful. And to clarify, by this I mean the ability to hold a button to trigger certain functionality as listed in the first post." So she said like hold down to water all and to fertilize all and pick up all. And I think that was on May 9th. I think by then now they said they're coming in 1.8. So finger crossed. So apparently up until now you could choose not to do multiplayer, but then not be able to do it anymore ever. And Jessie said there's no other way to have it tied to dialogue character sequencing requirement besides quest, unfortunately. It's a whole bunch of tangly dependencies. But repeatable quests are currently scheduled for 1.8, so hopefully that unlocks toggleable multiplayer. except for this one, I'm not sure why would you want to redo a quest. Can you get the thing from the quest again? Like the chest or something like that? I'm not sure. Somebody asked about bathroom furnitures, and Chelsea said it is on our radar/list. Now that we can have many different rooms in a big house, like our house, we could have a bathroom. I think that my bathroom in Animal Crossing is actually super cute, so I would love to make a super cute bathroom here. Pets. We wanted to do this for a long time. The biggest issues are: 1, we want to release Charmy Kitty and other character pets at some point in time, and are worried how creature pets might impact a feature like actual pets, where you get your own pet kitty or puppies. 2, we really want naming. We want you to be able to specify a name, to name a cabin, to name critters, etc. But apparently the tech to support keyboard and in all the languages we have is actually surprisingly complicated, and we'd also have to add all new moderation tools to catch bad words in all languages due to our multiplayer features, and that's been too high of a cost for us to balance out so far. 3, there are so many critters and you can donate them to the Nature Preserve. We need to figure out how critter with unique data, aka a name, interface with existing critter mechanics. We still want to do it, but there's a lot to figure out along the way, basically. Okay, so pets are coming eventually. So this might not have anything to do with the pony in 2.0. So ponies are not pets. Imagine if we had... What if ponies are actually rides? Like you can go faster with your mount. That would be so cool. I would love this. Just as said, we have legal obligation to ship when we ship. We cannot use test flight for beta testing because our releases are only 6 weeks apart, and a beta test run will introduce at least 2 additional weeks of testing time and bug fixing time. It's also not really feasible to just add all engineers to all features to make it better. One of our technical design folk actually added the weather system and worked with non-feature engineer, so not doing weather wouldn't have improved cabin stability at all. What we are doing about quality is: 1, we've hired a new outsourced QA group, quality assurance, that is better at ad hoc testing and more capable of playing as a player to catch experimental issues. 2, we've significantly reduced all of our repeated test cases to focus more on the new feature testing. 3, we've embedded internal QA on all featured teams so they have a better idea of everything that's happening and more knowledge to find and poke at edge cases. 4, our CTO, so Chief Technical Officer, is meeting weekly with our QA lead to go over high risk areas. Where is the rain? It's actually not possible to do a push notification when it rains because the game would have to be running in the background to give the push notification, and rain doesn't actually happen while you're gone. We also don't have any way of tracking when you leave the game, so we can't say set a timer when you leave to trigger a push notification. We are working with Apple to see if there's some smarter way to do this. And there will be an upcoming mechanic in 1.8 that decreases the maximum time between weather events, which should help folks as well. So I think at the moment they said it's minimum 1 hour. So it feels like 1 hour is one full day, evening, night, morning, day, and then another day. So then if you see later, that might mean the next night, not this one coming, but the one after next. For example, for the Starfall, for rain it can happen anytime, but they said that they will reduce that it's not 1 hour anymore, but we need to wait until 1.8. Just as said, quests and storylines are some of the most expensive things to add to the game from a dev cost perspective. We add as much of them as we possibly can with our team size each update, and we are looking into tooling to enable us to add more. But right now, what you're seeing is the absolute maximum we're able to release, because we know they are the most beloved and we love them too. Also, month of May is a bit special, but we do normally try to make sure you're not collecting too many things each day this was an ideal overlay. Someone said a feedback, not very cozy anymore, and Chelsea answered. We asked if folks wanted to help because we were unable to reproduce issues from our rather large testing team. People who wanted to help did help, and that was very kind of them and appreciated. In general, to the thread, please remember that Animal Crossing New Horizon uses a fundamentally different business model where it does not matter how much you play after you have paid for the game. That means that you do not need to constantly be trying to introduce new content. Keep in mind also that I had 10 times the people and 3 times the time to make that game, and it was made by one of the biggest companies in the gaming industry. Comparing a game made in 2 years by 30 people to Animal Crossing is an honor to be sure, but also only going to lead to inaccurate expectation. We only get paid if people continue to play the game, so yes, we need to introduce things that take time, and folks can go deep if they want, like the flower and furniture customization. And we need to constantly have new shiny things, like events and weather patterns and mechanics that rely on those. Sorry, I'm going to pause here. Seasons, guys? Seasons. This is something that we wanted. I wanted that. I want snow and everything, and I'm so excited because we've seen it in Animal Crossing. I'm sorry, Chelsea, we keep having to compare to that because this is one of the similar game, but also I know that we need to not compare the dev, but also we kind of are bound to expect to compare cool things that is seen in that kind of game, but you are releasing all the cool stuff and more from Animal Crossing every now and then, and that's perfect. We fix bugs every single release, but we can't fix them all without losing out on the key things we need for continuous engagement. If we stop doing live services like content update and events, we would fail as a company and the game would disappear. So we do our best to balance old players and new players, fixing bugs and continuing to introduce a content cadence. So I remember at some point they said 2 years of updates, and I'm not sure if after 2 years that means that it's the end of their contract with the Apple Arcade and they can release to other places, and they will not keep adding new events and everything. I'm not sure. We are not in 1 year yet, so let's enjoy our time now. Something that I asked, I've seen so many people said, I have time traveled, even though they knew or not knew that it was bad, but what can you do if you time traveled? Here's what I asked. Are all hope lost? Can they just start a new save under the same iCloud account to start fresh? Or is the full account compromised and need to start a new one? Is going backwards as bad as going forwards? What would you suggest I tell them to do when that happened? And she only answered they would need to start a new save file. So apparently you can keep the same iCloud account but start a new save file. She did not answer if going backwards is as bad as going forwards, but I would reiterate, do not ever time travel. Please. Chacun nos said, I think there should be a way where each have our own permanent multiplayer tag so we can visit each other island even if the other players isn't available. Maybe to collect stuff from the island for them, like the visiting player would collect it, but it would go to the island owner, or send item to that specific tag if that person needs resources but isn't around to do multiplayer. And Jessie said, this isn't possible with our current backend tech, unfortunately. This would require having a persistent server, which is much too costly, that stores everyone's island data and tracks visits / changes / gifts. In order to support that financially, we need to have some sort of additional cost to the game. That's interesting. I guess this is why in Animal Crossing, sorry, bringing this up again, if you want to do the multiplayer thing, you have to have the Nintendo online account or something like that. And so this is an additional cost. And then you can send mail and save your friends and things like that. So if you remember, Chococat's birthday was not on his real day because it was too close to Pom Pom Pudding's birthday, something like that. And Jessie said, folks were trying to prevent overlap, but we decided that standardizing was better, so the future birthday quests should go live 2 days before and be live 5 days after to ensure there's always some weekend time for folks who only can play on weekends. So apparently now all the quests for birthdays will be 1 week long, 2 days and 5 days after. Interesting. Bunny Mouse said, please let us swipe between maps when we're on Clyde Island, Meadow or Icy Peak, so we don't have to scroll through the fast travel list to get out of those maps. And Jessie said, we're currently revamping the map interface and definitely planning on making it easier to move between regions. Bradley said, we should be able to change the colors of our balloons when we jump. That would be so cute. The colors clash with my outfit, and I totally agree. And Jessie said, this has been planned from the beginning, both recoloring the balloons and getting entirely new gliding options. Just haven't been able to fit it in yet. I'm very excited about that. A feedback for Hello Kitty Cafe remodel, and Jessie said there's some stuff in the works in the next few updates that hits a bunch of these notes, so I don't know what exactly, but Hello Kitty's Cafe is one of the only shop that has not been touched yet, so apparently it's getting a revamp too. Exciting. There is now a new way to do bug tracking on the Discord, so if you want to look into that, you can head there and read the whole post. Raycon asked, why we can have backpacks with various clothes, but not necklaces with various clothes. Necklaces are flat to the body, so will intersect with any sort of dimensions to the clothes. Wings and backpacks stick out far from the body, so it will be visible in all cases. Liz asked, I think it'd be helpful if you could make the players' homes bigger than the rest. Also, if you could decorate the outside of your home. And Jessie said, it's on the list. I don't know if anything that was mentioned by Liz before or the decorate outside is on the list. Maybe, you know, like there's the flower display outside of the houses. Maybe they would put some kind of a garden or something like that, that you can add some furniture to it. But as we can see later, there's not a full grid on the whole map to be able to do stuff. So they need to add specific stuff to that. Weather taking too long. Jessie said, additional changes to weather to increase the duration of event and decrease the maximum time between weather events will be coming in 1.7.5, and it has been said that it will be the second week of June. A feedback that says, Tuxedo-sam weekly offering like therapy. And Jessie said, we intend to keep event clothing locked to the events. We don't want brand new players to instantly catch up to folks who have been playing close to a year. There should be some social status associated with having a big clothing collection. We allowed event furniture to come back more frequently because it gates lower level visitors, but we wanted some endgame aspect to be dependent of a longer player lifetime. And I really appreciate that. So she has said everything will come back. So you guys who just started playing, you will be able to get this clothing next year. But for now, they're locked to people who have been played a long time. And I don't know if you noticed, but in the logging bonus, they don't give you new clothes every day. They give you maybe 2 or 3 pieces of clothing in one thing that is 2 weeks maybe, and the rest is dye and is crates and things like that. And I think that they are planning to add those from last year there, like they were, and maybe add new stuff for the new player also in this logging bonus probably. Or will it be no furniture or only new clothing? I'm not sure, but this is something that they can do because they have space. They can remove, maybe you don't want them to remove crits, but maybe they can remove dye or giving you random kicks or whatever to get a new piece of clothing there. Jessie said, outfits will come back annually, so 2023 Spooky Celebration attire and furniture will be available in 2024 Spooky Celebration. You should be able to miss a few days and still complete the entire calendar though. And then Samantha said, just curious, how will this affect OG players? Will we just not get the collection reward again? And Chelsea said there will be new rewards in addition to the old rewards. So I think they talked about that the quests for the new fish and critter is they just made them to show that you could get these critters and where you could get them. And maybe now they're thinking about putting it somewhere else than info instead of as quests. And we actually only added the quest to help folks figure out which biomes the special weather critter were in. Once it was clear it was causing the opposite player behavior on what we wanted, whether as background thing that you can dip in and out whenever, it was clear change was required. Virus said maybe there could be an alert outside of the phone, a little cloud or something on the main screen so that we don't have to keep opening closing the phone to check if something has started. We want like a little tooltip somewhere near the weather on the phone, so it'd be like, hey, it's raining, special critter might appear in Gemstone Mountain. So tutorialize it once the initial weather quest and then just have the info available but not obtrusive for the future. That's the goal at least. We'll see how UX winds up handling it. Apparently there were windows that were taken off by mistake in the wallpapers, and Chelsea said the windows will be coming back. Something got disconnected, but it will be restored in 1.7.5. We can't store your in-game pictures due to memory issues, but we definitely want to have wall decor in the future. Nice. Fast travel to my own cabin as a feedback, and Jessie said it's part of our map rework, which is currently scheduled for 1.8. No promises as always, but we're trying. Feedback, please utilize the new mail system more. And Jessie said because we have to translate the message into every language in the game, they take a surprisingly long time to write. We cannot get them posted as quickly as we can post on Discord. The game is in 14 languages. And Chelsea said, yeah, I'm used to working on games that do like 6, so it was definitely a change to get used to. It's also a brand new flow for our team, so hopefully once we have done it a few times, things will be able to go faster too. Quantity selection for accessory shop as a feedback. Bridget Butter said it would be amazing to have the ability to select a quantity when shopping so we can purchase, for example, 20 pairs of cat eyeglasses cause adorbs. I realized that calculating the purchase total might be a challenge in adding the features, so no worries if not feasible. Yeah, like people for me, we want to dye it in every color. And Jessie said, I'll ask UX if it's possible. Let the Null wear the sunglasses as a feedback, and Chelsea said, I think this is coming, I'll try to confirm. Sweetie Pie said, I play with my 10-year-old daughter and some quests can get a little too complex for her, having a level up character for quests, find items. So because of the main story quests are sometimes a little too difficult, I help her with most of her quests. I think it would be awesome if your island visitor could gift friends for you or be able to see your quest as well so they can help you. This would help a lot with having to check her phone over and over just to see what she needs help with, and just making playing overall much easier for a younger audience who play with parents. And Chelsea said, this is super interesting. I think we'd have to both player opt into it for privacy reasons, but if both agree, there might be a way to make it work. So this is really interesting. Diana said, I would love if we were shown if we already have a flower crown or candle in our inventory prior to crafting with the station. I fear I'll accidentally make more than one crown when I already have one. Doesn't tell you if you already made it or not, as it's too cumbersome to scroll through the entire clothing section of my backpack. I hope this makes sense. I do have a spreadsheet next to me every time I make one because I could not do that. And Chelsea said, trying to think how we'd manage this. We could probably do it for stuff in your active inventory, but I don't think we'll be able to track if you'd place it on a null or on a mannequin in a cabin. So we will be imperfect, but that will still be helpful. And Livia said, I can't speak for the OP, but for me, just having it show what's in your active inventory, like Chococat's workbench, would be quite helpful. Yeah, I agree. It's exactly like that for Chococat. You cannot see which one you have already in a cabin. It says you have 0 in your inventory. So that would really help. Upset that we cannot craft the imagination celebration items, I guess. Maxley said I was so impressed with how the kimono for springtime celebration included a crafting plan to get kimono in every color. We intended to and it slipped through the cracks, and then unfortunately other issues have been much higher priority since 1.7. So maybe in the future we'll have the crafting plan again for the other outfits of the event. Outfits / avatar slots, and people are asking to have preset kind of outfits already prepared with many items together, like a top or skirt, something now in the back and something in the head. And Chelsea said, we had this in the backlog for a while, helps to know folks still want it. Yes, that would be super helpful. Please put another waypoint in the Oasis by Chaz. And Chelsea said, I think we're planning on this in 1.8. We'll try to confirm with dev team. A feedback that says rain duration / feeling rushed. Chelsea said, rain will happen forever. Starfall will happen forever. And there is a capped sink. You only need raindrops for a locked set of furniture and clothing and flippers. So you are guaranteed to be finished with rain after a certain period of time. Many people already are, despite it only coming out 7 weeks ago. We are looking into ways to better balance the intended random feeling of weather with players feeling like they have more time / autonomy about how to engage with it. Companions and ability. And Wally said, I'd love to not have to work more in order to unlock having 2 companions, but I think that's asking for too much from the dev. Us putting in the effort before being able to have 2 companions is surely more attractive to the devs. It'd surely be a hassle trying to get some characters to level 25 or 30, but at least the option would be there. And Chelsea said, stay tuned. So are we getting more levels of characters? I don't know. I think it was nice to have a break from gifting. Maybe if the flowers are less grindy, maybe we'll have time to do the gifts again. Why not? New picture save feature. I don't know if you've seen in my live stream, but it's a mess. I need to hide my contacts every time I do a photo, and so that's a pain. And people said they liked the save photo photo before, and they said they're planning on breaking this out into 2 separate buttons for 1.7.5. So you get a save button, which will work like it used to, and a share button, which will do like this new functionality. Hopefully that makes it easier for everyone. I'm not sure why they released this in between, and honestly, this is a pain for people who are streaming. For the other ones, I don't know. Yes, also if you are playing with a controller, you cannot use this menu. You need to do it on your phone. A feedback on wings. Said, there's not really a way for us to ensure that every outfit combo works, unfortunately. If we try to have a custom position for every back accessory paired with every outfit, it would be hundreds and hundreds of individually hand-authored position and a ton of data to store when we are trying to keep memory performances in check. That said, we do plan on adding more different types of back accessories in the future that may look better with the back bows. Carter said, the 1.7 update is grindy, repetitive, and disappointing, but it doesn't have to be. And Chelsea said, we provide new quests and new areas to explore at the highest possible rate our development team is able to create them, which is usually artbound. And in the meantime, we will fill out the world as best as we can with open world mechanic like weather or seasonality, season again, or life sim mechanic like customization and flowers. None of the weather mechanics were ever intended to be the sole focus of gameplay, but instead something to do while playing through quests and wandering the world. Fortunately for long-time players who have already completed all quests, there's less to do in the meantime. So yeah, so for me, I'm happy when it rains or starfalls during the flowers, and that's true. In between, there's not that much, but like she said before, at some point we'll have enough star drops and raindrops that we don't really care about running for the weather or anything. Nina Spritzy Bunny said, Wish Me Mel's friend and the Cinema Roll crew can also wear absolutely nothing if you want, which is a bit weird but matches the usual appearance. Wish Me Mel and Cinema Roll don't have this, even though it applies to their usual appearance. And actually I changed mine to no clothes because I thought they were cuter. The secret is that any Sanrio character that has a non-standard body type is very hard to make clothes, so tends to not get special outfits often / at all. Nath G said, did my 70-something speckled candle disappear from my bag? And Chelsea said, no, they just look different now. And we switched all candle over to the new data model. So now instead of seeing a unique icon for them, you're seeing something closer to the flower icon, where you get a generic icon and then the indicator for color and pattern. So if you remember the old speckled candle, there was blue with yellow dots. Now it's actually the round rare candle that is the pattern candle. And the one that is all still do not have any color and pattern, but is still here. Where is milk, by the way? And in the wild speculation channel, Nikki said, milk left Cafe Cinnamon before everyone else. I won't say anything else. I can't even get through this quest. I'm losing my marble. So, where is milk? This is the definite question. And remember, I have Where is Milk merch, like this. Oh, it's hidden. I have mugs and stuff like that, if you want to wonder where is milk. And Chelsea answered, the popcorn I am eating knowing what's coming in 1.8. Boy, howdy. And Aristotema said, is rude. And Chelsea said, ha 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 ha. Remember in the past she said she has seen the model for milk, so probably milk is coming in 1.8. Definitely. Something. So, get your Where is Milk merch now, because then it will be too late. Milk will be here. So, about the new mermaid outfit in the Under the Sea celebration, Jessie said we tried to honor the Discord poll as much as we could, and there's a white version just like the koi in the poll, and it's stunning. So we are looking forward to see those mermaid tails. The feedback says hat stealing our ears. Chelsea said, I think you'll like the 1.7 update, and then right after, never mind, it was just informed we got pushed to 1.8. So in 1.8 we'll finally have the hats having holes for picking ears. That's one of the reasons I did not pick the bunny at some point when it came out, because it was sad it was hidden. And also, I just liked to be me as my own character again. Also, apparently there will be, probably also, that was supposed to be for 1.7, it got pushed. So we'll probably get a new avatar type, like animal type for the avatars. So Candy had issues with the quest, and Chelsea said, looking at your logs, it appears your iCloud is full, so it might not be able to save your data correctly. So be super careful. If your iCloud storage is too small, maybe you did not have a big need before and you were in the free one or something like that, be careful, because it might not save your whole data and you might be in trouble. So maybe I should go back to looking at the Discord every week, because when I do it every 2 weeks there's so much stuff, but I think this is important stuff to know where things are. I always reading people that getting annoyed about the weather or about many things that Chelsea has said that is coming in a future update, and I feel that because I know things, I'm way less frustrated about the bugs or the things that do not work in the game. So I'm really happy that I can provide this service for you, so you can know what's coming, so you can yourself get less frustrated about the things that you don't know is coming or not or is working. So let me know in the comment which one of the things we talked about today are you the most excited about for the 1.8. And also, this is the first hint, maybe only a secret for the people who are watching until the end, but I'm planning a big meetup, no, not a big actually, a very small because the cafe is small, a meetup for Hello Kitty Island Adventure on the 1-year anniversary in the Artbox Cafe on the 28th of July. I have not booked the cafe yet because I need to prepay it, so I want to be able to say to sell the tickets before I could put the cafe, so wish me luck. But we already have sponsors to give you guys who will come super cute gifts in the goodie bag on top of spending a very cool time in a cafe with Hello Kitty and friends and eating super cute Sanrio food. So I hope that you guys are excited about this. So if you're around Europe, this is in Brighton, UK, so this is a bit south of London, but there's one of the London airport that is kind of affordably close to there. So I should have more info and the whole link to reserve your spot at the end of next week, hopefully. But I'm very excited for this event. So this is not a Sanrio or Hello Kitty Island Adventure or Apple sanctioned event. This is just me as a fan of the game organizing a small meetup for other fans of the game. And yep, this is going to be so cool. So if you can, please meet me in Brighton this summer. I will let you know soon, don't worry. And you guys who watched until the end, I'm happy to let you know this. And yeah, I already have a lot of cool stuff secured to gift you on top of the day in the cafe. So looking forward to that. See you soon. Bye bye.